if I have a square root sign, that is also called a radical. So what that's called in red is a radical. The number in this little nook, that number is called the index. And then if whatever is under here, so remember how yesterday how I had numbers and letters under there? Whatever is under there is called a radicand. Okay? So, if I had the square root of 16x to the third, what's my, I have a radical sign, right? What's my index number? No. Index is 2. If you have a radical sign without an index number, it is always a 2. Are you with me? Why? It's the square root. What did we say? Square root of 25 is what? 5. Why? Yeah, and that's 5 squared is 25. So that's why the index, if it's not there, it's a 2, because we're taking the square root because of all this right here at the bottom. So the index is 2. What's the radicand? Radicand is 16x to the third. You're right. Okay, let's do another one. Look, I want to put a 4 there. What if I put 2xy to the third? What's my index? 4. My index is 4 there because it actually has a number. What is the radicand? 2xy. All of that under there. You with me? Questions?
How do you get the answer though?
What do you mean?
It's like the answer.
What is the answer? That's a good question. What was the answer on the quiz today? It was something called a simplified radical. So in my answer, in my equivalency answer, I had just a something with the radical in it that didn't have any clean numbers on the inside. So, Cameron, hold that thought. It's an important question, but hold it just for a second. So here's what's going to happen. Are you watching? Whatever index number you have there, let's call it I for index. If I have any radical, let's just call it x for the time being, and I raise it to its exponent. Let's call that exponent a. That can be equivalent to x to the a over 1. Or a over I, sorry. So what did you do with the number on the x, or the radicand? You put it on the top. Where did the index number go? On the bottom. Are you with me? Kinda. So let's talk about this again. The square root of 16 is what? 4. The equivalency of the square root of 16 is 4. But this right here is simplified. What if I told you to write it in exponential? What do you think exponential is? What's exponential mean? What's the root word of exponential? Exponent. So I want you to write the answer with the exponent in it. So let's look at this. Square root of 16. What is the radicand? 16. What's the a value or the exponent? 1. Because it's not there, is it? What's the index number? 2, because it's not there. So in exponent form, it's 16 to the what? 1/2 power. Are you with me? Okay. Let's do a harder one. Hold on. I'm not concerned about that homework. Let's look at that one. What am I going to do with that? It's still a 2 right here. The index is a 2. But what do you think I do with each individual letter? Let's do it. A to the what? A to the, what's the exponent on A? What's the exponent on A? 2. What's the index number? 2. So it's 2 over 2, which would become 1. What about B? 7 over 2. What about C? What does 2 over 2 reduce to? 1. What's 7 over 2 reduced to? I'm just going to leave it as 7/2. And then what's 8 over 2? 4. That's it. You're done. If it says to write it in exponential form, you're finished. Listen to my words. What was my directions on your quiz today? I just told you to what? Simplify, right? Hold on, I'll show you just a minute. On your haiku page, lesson 2 was called Simplifying Radicals. So your answers were left with a radical in them. All right, watch. I'm going to make this connection for you. If I would have told you to simplify at the start of this day, what would you have told me was A? What would you have done? A on the outside. How many B's? 3 on the outside, and what about C's? 4 C's. Are you with me? How is this, remember my magic word is equivalent. How is this equivalent to this other piece of yellow? Which ones are really easy to see? The A and the C have exactly the same exponents, don't they? That's right. I did. What did we do to get that? 7 divided by 2 was what? 3, with 1 left over. You can also look at this as this. Do you remember how Cody was trying to give me a mixed number a while ago and I told him not to? But 7/2 as a mixed number is 3 and 1/2. So there's your b to the third. And right here in exponential form would be b to the 1/2. Does that make sense? And b to the third times b to the 1/2 would be b to the 3 and 1/2 because you would add. So do you see how they're all the same equivalency, but they look different? Okay, so those are the key words that get you confused. Equivalency means that they're the same numerical number at the end, but it doesn't mean they look the same. Me and my husband can weigh exactly the same, but we're going to look very different, right? Okay, any questions? Okay, tell me what this one's going to be in exponential form. Krista, did you have a question on this one?
No, I just didn't know what that. I didn't know what the 4 was.
Okay.
I didn't know what
You figured it out?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I meant to come back to you, but I forgot. All right, do that one. What's that one going to become? 8 to the 1/2, because what's the exponent on 8? 1. X to the 4 over 2. Y to the 5 over 2. Now reduce the fractions just as you would. 8 to the 1/2 doesn't. X to the 2. Y to the 5 over 2. You're going to leave it improper. All right, do this one.
I'm going to forget that today.
All right, do that one. How do you remember that, Cameron, is the square root means two numbers being multiplied together. That's why the index has to be a 2. Okay? All right, who's got it? 20 to the what? 1/3. X to the 1/3. Y to the 5/3. Z to the 3/3. What's going to change? Z only. You can put the 1, you don't have to. Questions? All right, let me show you what your homework's going to be tonight. I'm going to change my mind. You're not ready for a test tomorrow. So your test, I strongly suggest you study like your 2.1 and maybe redo that quiz tomorrow to get those grades up. Okay? Your homework is going to be right here on 2.3. Go there with me. Over here for homework, there's 2 assignments. You're going to do the first one, 2.3.1, that looks like this right here. You're going to do all of these problems. Okay? Now, you should be able to work backwards on these. But if I have 25 to the 3/2 and it says to write it in radical form, what would you do? Radical. 25 goes here to the 3rd. Where does this 2 go? The 2's the index. Do I have to write a 2 there? No. You're done. You can. Yep, you can. So on this homework, when it looks like this, that's all you have to do with 1 through 12. What happens if you mess up on one of them? You're going to mess up on all of them. So what about 9? If I have, no, let's do, well, do you understand what I'm asking you to do? 13 through 28, you're going to exponent form. So you need exponents. The thing you just done. Number 1 through 12 is undoing what we just did. 13 through 28 is doing exactly what we just did. You get what I'm saying? So these answers up here should look like this, and these answers down here should look like this. Okay, on your haiku, do you have a tab up here that says calendar? Okay, I'm going to start putting your homework there every day so you know what's coming up. And so right here, I'm going to put your homework, okay, what you should do so you can go back to that page. Have a good day. I'll see you on Thursday. Snow, right? Snow.
Yes, I was like, today's Wednesday?
If I don't see you, if it doesn't snow, I'll see you tomorrow.
You want me to come back tomorrow after school and do that